Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls. It's your host, 305 Sports Bay, co-host Miami Lou, and we are currently in the stage of our life where we are thawing out.
I'm still cold. So I don't know how you're doing it. I'm still braving the elements, trying to recover from frigid Kansas City.
Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime experience.
You could say that, yeah.
People have asked what did it feel like, and obviously we're gonna get into that. But the best way I can
It was
describe
cold. I'll tell you that. It was cold.
But the best way I can describe to people, it's kind of like if you were to see the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Saw, where you know that the bad guys are cutting off your limbs, but the bad guys were cutting off our limbs, but our limbs weren't falling off. So you're kind of waiting for the limbs to fall off, and they weren't. Um, it was brutal, and I loved every second of it, and I am so proud and so happy that we went. And there's so much about the trip. So yeah, but we are facing the reality that our season is over.
Season's over. I'm not going to say that I'm proud the way our team played. I'm not, and we'll get into that down. But I'm definitely proud that we were there in attendance. We were at the fourth coldest game in NFL history. The NFL has been played for over 100 years and tens of thousands of games, right? And we were at the fourth coldest one ever.
And the coldest one at Arrowhead. So, our buddy Mark, who has done, he's been at Arrowhead. He's been at Orchard Park. We actually beat you because we are one of the coldest games. And Desi's in the house. Ashley has thought out. I have. I went to work this morning and I told my coworkers, I'm usually the one who has like a heater in my office. I like to wrap myself in blankets. I told my coworkers that I will never complain when the office is 70 degrees. And if they complain, in fact, a few of my coworkers are going to DC Thursday, and they're like, oh, it's going to be so cold. And I just laughed at them.
Yeah, at this point, there's not much that anybody can tell me about the cold because I've been there. We experienced it. And you can't give me any cold. I'm not going to feel sorry for you when you say you were in the cold because we were really in the cold.
Yeah, no, it's, like I said, Mark has gone to Orchard Park. We had a few of our other friends go to Orchard Park as well. And I can never imagine. And Orchard Park had snow. And that's the thing. My boss said, Ash, would you have preferred playing at Orchard Park with the snow or playing at Arrowhead with the cold? And I said, it was cold in Orchard Park, but it was still 18 degrees.
Right.
So I'd rather deal with 18 degrees and snow as opposed to frigid negative 30 degrees.
Yeah, and the wind chill is a factor, right? So the degrees is one thing. Obviously, that was cold as is. But when you throw in the wind chill, to the point where I went to go kick what I thought was snow, and it was ice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cold, and the wind chill is so lopsided that, you're not – it's not snow. It's not like the fluffy stuff. It is rock solid ice.
Bistro
like
Ola.
Gibraltar, glacier style ice.
It was crazy.
I hurt my foot doing that. It kicked some.
Robert in Dallas Fort Worth. Hello. We had a short little trip to Dallas Fort Worth.
We did.
On Friday. We also have Jim from Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie is very, very, very important to us. We love Port St. Lucie.
We do.
So we plan on spending a lot more time there in the near future. But yeah, no, so let's just get right into it. So Kansas City, all right? Sunday happened, and we lost against the Bills. And leaving Hard Rock Stadium was just gut punching, right? You had tons and tons and tons of Bill fans there, as we knew there would be, and they beat us on our home turf. They steal the number 2 seed from us. They get the home field advantage, and we leave knowing that we are going to be playing Kansas City. So we started looking at flights on the way out of Hard Rock that night. And we were like, oh my gosh, what is this?
It wasn't to be surprised, and it wasn't the fact that it was a wild card game. It happened to be a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody was off on Monday, or most people were off on Monday for MLK. And so that's what drove the prices up. The weather didn't even come into play. Like, there was talk about it, but it wasn't the driving force of the conversation until, really Monday afternoon where people were seeing how cold it was going to be.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, it wasn't like weather. We weren't thinking weather. We were thinking we're going to Arrowhead. How can we financially make this work? How are the tickets going to be at the hotel and everything? Because we're planning this within 5 days. But no one was thinking weather. We knew the Midwest is cold, but no one knew what we were going to expect. So then you go and book a flight from.
We originally looked at booking a flight that there was no direct flights out of Miami.
Very limited, but they didn't even make sense.
And a lot of them sold out, and so then the 2 options were flying into Charlotte, which that one sold out quickly thereafter. And when we finally had made our mind up, Chicago looked like the best option, and then you find out that Chicago was going to pretty much be in the same situation as Kansas City, and we might not be able to get in, which turned out to be the fact that a lot of the flights heading into Chicago were canceled outright, and then also the connecting flights to Kansas City were canceled as well. So we ended up making a decision to fly to Dallas, Fort Worth. We rented a car and we had a nice little journey across 4 states into Missouri. We had a great time. A lot of cool stuff that we did.
Yeah, no, originally, like Lou mentioned, he had us connected in Chicago, which Chicago is one of my favorite cities. And I was like, yes. But then I saw the connection was only 40 minutes.
I don't know why you would get excited about that. We're not going to stop in Chicago.
Well, maybe get a nice little deep dish pizza at the airport. Let me indulge in my Chicago love. So I was like, all right, cool. We're going to stop in Chicago. But then like the foodie fatty part of me like kind of diminished. I'm like, wait, 40-minute layover in Chicago in the middle of winter. No, abort mission. So I was like, Lou, you got to trust me here, pal. I got to change the plans. So, then we changed it to go to Dallas, which, whether in Dallas, we got off the plane, got the rental car. It was like 40 degrees. We're like, all right, cool. We got this. Not realizing it was going to be another 60 degrees colder what we were going to get.
It's amazing. When we got to Dallas, I think it was about 40 something degrees. And we, as I mentioned, we went through 4 states, Texas, then we went to Oklahoma, then went to Kansas, and our final destination was Missouri. And along the way, the temperature dropped.
It kept dropping like crazy.
From about 45 in Texas to the 20s, the high 20s in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When we got into Kansas, it was in the teens. And then when we finally got into Kansas City and we pulled up, it was -7 degrees in Kansas. Or sorry, 7 degrees in Kansas City. So it went from 40 to 20 to 13 to 7 degrees.
Bistro even said Dallas was still frigid. Now, it definitely was. When we flew from Miami to Dallas, like we went from 80 to 40 real quick, but 40 was actually okay. Excuse me. And so we drove through Dallas, went north. I drove the first 3 hours.
You did?
I did because there was a lot of daylight, and I love Texas. Texas is one of my favorite states. So I'm like, oh, places to get boots. Buc-ee's, Hooters. Like I was all up in my Texas. I saw the flags and everything.
So we had both been to Texas before. So
not together, but different.
Yeah, right. But it's nothing new for us. Oklahoma though was unique. All the windmills and the landscape was really cool. Bunch of casinos along the way, and then we really loved passing through towns like Norman and Stillwater.
Yeah.
Unfortunately we couldn't go deeper into it. Come to find out that I know about the Sooner tradition. But Oklahoma is like the 13th biggest stadium in the country and the 22nd overall in the world.
Yeah.
So that would have been cool to go into Norman and check out that football stadium. Same thing with Oklahoma State, massive football stadium, tremendous program. Barry Sanders went there, to name a few, stars. Oklahoma, obviously Brian Bosworth and all those national championship teams. So it would have been cool to get deeper into it, but passing through those towns was pretty awesome. Highlighted for me, and I don't want to be somber about it, but I saw that the route was going to take us to Oklahoma City. And for me, the Oklahoma City bombing really hit hard. I was in high school when it occurred. It was a true tragedy, a domestic terrorist attack, which is something that, is horrible to even think how somebody could do that. And so we went to the Oklahoma National Museum where the bombing took place. And that was a really powerful museum and exhibit.
Yeah, it was. Dallas still frigid. Indeed it was. Russ, I got 2-3 words for you. Bye, Eagles, bye. Man, you want to talk about a total collapse?
Did you just take the fly, Eagles, fly?
I said bye, Eagles, bye.
Oh,
dude,
man.
What a collapse. You guys are going to clean house. So if there's going to be there's going to be 2 organizations that are going to clean house, right? It's going to be you. It's going to be Dallas. Like, dude, Tampa?
Yeah,
man,
I'll say this. A lot of people, I was talking with my buddies Adam and Chris, huge Eagles fans, and they gave up. They gave up in that game last night.
Gassed and everything.
The tackling was horrible. A guy with the speed of Jalen Hurts, how he takes a safety in a playoff game, inexcusable. With the talent that they had, and playing the Super Bowl last year, that caught us all by surprise, and that team just flat out quit. That team quit. Now I disagree with firing Nick Sirianni.
I agree.
Look,
don't fire him.
Unfortunately, their offensive coordinator went to Indianapolis, and so they lost him, and his replacement didn't do a good job. And Matt Patricia, His pencil on his ear hasn't worked since he coached for the Cheaters.
Yeah, I know.
He was horrible in Detroit, and he's been horrible all his other stops besides New England.
So they're out, they're done. So
yeah,
we're clean house. So Robert Morton from the UK was going to go to bed, but I'll keep you guys company for a bit. Hello. Bistro, it's so cold in Dallas. See, when people say it's so cold, unless you've been in the Arctic,
that just made me cold thinking about the cold. Bundle up again.
College towns, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. It ain't no state college. Oklahoma State had Thurman Thompson and Barry Sanders.
Thurman Thomas,
sorry.
Great Buffalo Bill. Yeah, no doubt. And I know that they're little sisters to little brothers, I should say, to Oklahoma. But man, Oklahoma State's still a tradition-rich football program. And yeah, we also passed by Wichita State. We didn't get a chance to pass by Lawrence. It would have added like 40 more minutes.
It's not even that. It's that the route, if we were to go more north to go through Lawrence and cut east,
it would have been colder.
They were actually in a winter weather advisory. So there was for sure more ice on the road up the extra 40 miles or so. So we had to actually cut east a little earlier, which was like a minute shorter. Because usually, like, hey, if Lou wants to go see something that's a little bit out of the way, we'll make it work. But the fact that there was truly ice on the road, we just couldn't do it.
That's a bucket list. I love my college basketball, and Lawrence, Kansas, where the Kansas Jayhawks play, one of the most tradition-rich programs in college basketball history. Fog Allen, the Allen Fieldhouse, that's named after Fog Allen, who pretty much invented, not pretty much, he did invent the game of basketball. The bylaws and the rules of the game of basketball are in that Fieldhouse. So we will one day have to make a return trip and check out a Kansas Jayhawk game, no doubt.
Great. Desi had a snow day today.
Look at that.
Very cool. So did Jersey. I know my local schools were closed up there as well. So yeah, so we rent the car, drove 7.5, about 8 hours. We did about, like Lou said, about 3 hours.
4 states.
4 states. And honestly, like I said to myself, like this road trip is either going to be great or I'm going to want to, what him. I'm going to either want to throw him out. And it was fun. Like
we had a great time.
We really did. We the rest stop that we stopped at was like super, like you can eat gizzards and pig butts and like just really country. And I don't have any country roots, but I'm kind of in like my Lady Wilson stage of life. So like
and I almost bought a cowboy hat.
We really did. So I mean, it would have been cool to stop more, but then the issue that I had was that we were towards 4 or 5 o'clock. We lost sunlight. And the fact that there were ice on the roads, I just wanted to get to Kansas City to get us safe at that point.
Not just ice, black ice.
Black ice.
It's not a racist term, guys. I know it's a lot of people think that, but black ice on the road is never a good thing.
Yeah,
as I come to learn.
Yeah, so Lou has never really driven in those scenarios before, and I didn't want this to be his first. So I was like, we're just gonna get there. So we get to Kansas City about 8:30 on Monday, or sorry, on Friday. My goodness, and then we walk out of the car and you feel it, right? It's like, it's instant. It's instant. It's instant. It's instant. It's such an Arctic blast, right? It's so hard to explain. I know I explained earlier when at the game how it felt, but you just feel it. So we get to the hotel. We wake up early Saturday, and we
hold on. We went out. We made our rounds about the town. First of all,
we did.
We were trying to look for more coverage, more layers, if you will. Because we were not prepared coming from Miami, Florida, and there's just not that.
Well, Russ wants to know, how did you know it was black ice? I slipped and my wallet was gone. So Lou knows that if it's shiny enough, it's usually black. Right? Is that kind of how it is? Like,
he's telling a little joke there, but yeah, that's pretty much. White ice doesn't have the same effect. White ice will return the wallet to you. Yeah. No doubt, Russ.
You are right. So on Friday when we got there, it was like 8:30. We were like hungry and thirsty. So we went down. We stayed in the heart of Kansas City, like downtown Kansas City. So we explored the Power and Light District, which we were right there. And
nobody was out. Nobody was out. A soul
out.
And
then we realized that we didn't have enough like winter gear for this game. Like we needed the face mask and gloves. I had gloves, you didn't. So we went to like a local sports store. And sure enough, this local sports store had all Kansas City Chiefs. They're like, well, you can have these gloves and this. And they all had Kansas City stuff. We're like, no, we're not wearing Kansas City Chief gloves. Like, that's not going to happen. So,
yeah, and then but let me tell you something. They were really nice about it. They were like, hey, you could flip them inside out. They said, we love Tyreek. Welcome them back. I mean, the people in Kansas City, our first impression going to these stores couldn't have been nicer. They actually said that a lot of Miami fans stopped by earlier in the day and pretty much bought out all their non-Kansas City gloves and ski masks and stuff like that. So
Mark asked, were they cool? So I actually have some stories about how dang cool they were. Yes. So stay tuned with that.
Before you do that, these were my gloves that I brought firsthand. These are batting gloves from my baseball playing days. So I was going to put these on, and I was going to then top it off with a little oven mitt, to keep me warm, nice and warm, my lobster oven mitt. But obviously that was not going to get the job done. So we definitely have to stock up on our winter
So
clothes.
Desi says folks in the Midwest are really nice. Indeed, they are. And we have Dwayne
Fantastic.
in the house. Hello from SoCal. Hello, Dwayne.
Hey,
We
Dwayne.
couldn't bring home the win, so we apologize.
Yeah, we tried.
So
we did our part.
we go to that sports store, and it's all Kansas City Chiefs stuff, right? Or if it's not Kansas City Chiefs, it's Royals. So it's like, this isn't happening. But you walk in, and I posted this. There's a white jersey, like, hanging up.
Aqua. It was Aqua.
It was Aqua. You are right. And they were selling Tyreek Hill Dolphin jerseys. I was like, let's go.
They just had like one row of Tyreek Dolphin jerseys. Everything else in there was red and yellow or royal blue.
So we ended up going to Kansas City Live, which is like a little area with different bars and stuff. But everything was super, super, super dead. So we met a few Dolphin fans, called it a night. Woke up Saturday. Now, Saturday was the day of the meet and greet. And when I was looking for a place, you got to remember, I organized this meet and greet like within 5 days. I usually like to plan this months in advance, whether it's a pregame party, postgame party. I like to feel out the restaurants, talk to management, make sure we're all on the same page.
Can I just
go ahead? Yeah.
Sorry, jump in before we talk. The meet and greet was beyond successful, and you're going to get into it. You're going to pretty much give the rundown. Everybody who was there. But before we went to the meet and greet, and before we had to get our extra winter gear, we had breakfast in the hotel. While we were having breakfast, again, the staff there and the host at the breakfast location couldn't have been nicer. He at some point tells me, "Hey, you guys got cardboard for the floor?" I had no idea what he was talking about, right? When he said cardboard for the floor, I thought it was a joke, that he wanted me to break dance for my food. I don't know what he was talking about. Cardboard for the floor. Well, what does that mean? So he comes back with these huge cardboards. I still don't understand what he's trying to tell me. Apparently, and thankfully he told us this, putting the stadium, Arrowhead is one of the oldest stadiums, concrete floors all throughout. And the idea with the cardboard is to put it on the floor and stand on it, and it helps insulate your whole body and keep you a little warmer as to opposed to having your feet on the concrete. So mind blown. I had no idea what he was talking about, but it was really a lifesaver.
Yeah, it helped. It for sure did.
No doubt.
You guys were where we stayed and partied during the draft. Yeah, no, like it was our first time in Kansas City, so that area, super, super cool. A lot of fun places. We did as much as we could. At least it looks like your hair didn't freeze or snap off. Happened to someone in the fan group. I'm in a few seasons ago in KC. Yeah, no, we're all intact with hair, eyelashes, all the parts put on, and
almost
natural.
Lost my beard, but besides
everything has come back. Stephen T, hello from Connecticut. Hello. Yes, cardboard helps the cold. Mark, it's actually funny you said that, because one of my girlfriends, who is the president and co-founder of Bill's Mafia Babe, she DM'd me a few days before. So she was the one who told me about cardboard, and I know she wasn't being silly. So I already knew about the cardboard thing.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I was going to get it for us regardless. Robert, a friend of mine flew over from London for the Buffalo and KC game. He arrived in KC and found out that his luggage with the cold weather gear was still in Miami. Oh my goodness. Man. So what I did was, we always bring like a checked bag because I just have too much. But I put my essential gear for the game, like my snow pants in my carry-on, because I knew like I can go without like my cute dresses, but I couldn't go without my snow pants. So yes, that's a true thing.
Same thing with me. I could go without my cute dresses, but I needed my snow gear.
No, you definitely got it, essentials.
All right, let's talk about the meet and greet.
So like I was saying before, usually when I plan these either tailgate parties or watch parties, I have at least weeks in advance to do research and to make sure the place that we're going to have it is a good fit, right? I want to make sure management's on board, that they have enough room, that TVs and menu looks good. Like there's all these aspects. I just don't pick out of a hat where I want to go. So at this point, I only had like 4 days to find a place. So I knew I wanted to do something to have a meet and greet with Dolphin fans. I didn't want to do it outside because at that point we already knew it was cold. It was a night game, so I didn't want to do it after because you're talking midnight, and then people leave the day after. So my only choice was like a pregame party. So I found this place called Chapels, and I was like, this place looks cool. In fact, it was a restaurant, but it's also a sports museum. So it wasn't just like focused on KC sports. Was cool because I didn't want to have a party where all you see is Chief stuff. I didn't want to be like looking at Patrick Mahomes and like talking to people. So called up this place and was like, hey, listen, I'm a Dolphins influencer podcast. I can bring like 30 to 40 people at least to your restaurant before the game. Could you host us?
You said like minimum.
No. I said like max 50.
No, well, yeah, but minimum you'd bring is at least 30.
Yeah, minimum 30. So I was like, can we host it? They're like, yeah, absolutely. So I made the flyer, started promoting it, and let me tell you, like this spread like wildfire. So with the days upcoming, it was like people were sharing it and they were excited, and different Dolphin groups were sharing it. And so the night before on Friday, Lou and I are at Speakeasy at our hotel downtown. There's like an underground bar, and we're in our Dolphins gear. And this guy comes up to us and shows us the flyer to my party and was like, "Are you guys going to this party?" And I'm like, "Bro, that's my party." So he was like, "No way." So long story short, we get to the party Saturday. We set up, and people come in and in and in. We had over 200 people at this party.
It was closer to 300. Actually.
Yeah, we filled the place.
People came late. We did have the raffle. Some people came. Some people thought it was like a stop before the game. And we originally had wanted to do transportation, but we just didn't get enough commitments.
Yeah.
So a lot of people showed up towards the end. But I would estimate that it was closer to 300 people that showed up, which is a huge deal. And I want to mention all the states that were there. I'll get that in a second. But if you want to show what we gave.
So I like to give something away to, when I host parties, but something like cool. So I knew that we would have needed hand warmers. So I bought hand warmers for everybody. Then I made little stickers that said, "I wish it were colder," like just what Coach McDaniel said. And so if somebody donated to our 50-50, because we had a 50-50 drawing, they received hand warmers. The 50-50 supported Dolphins Challenge Cancer, and that ended up raising over $600 after the split. So
it was right. It was 1,300 total, and then it was a 50-50 raffle.
Yeah, so that was a huge thing for DCC.
And I do want to mention really quick, I have them here. So we had everybody sign in. You had name tags for everybody. They all put their name along with where they're from.
Yeah, I'm big
and so I want to run down the amount where everybody came from. Ready? Alabama, California, Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, Jersey, New York, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, Texas, Virginia, Canada, and Mexico. So that's the representation that we had there. Dolphin fans from literally all over the world when you count Canada and Mexico. Amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're missing some, but it was just like nonstop.
Yeah, that's
Brian Carroll, Ashley, the happy couple. Hey there, Finn's fam. Finn's brother. Hello. Yeah, Des, you would have been like, what? So I'm big with like very kumbaya, right? Like I love, for example, at the party, this guy and girl, this couple came, and they're like, they're from Jersey. I said, oh, I'm from Jersey. They're from Old Bridge. Old Bridge is 10 minutes where I grew up. So it's just a beautiful way to connect people even more. Yes, we're all Dolphin fans, but when you walk up to somebody, and Desi, if you see a name tag that says Massachusetts, it's an instant connection, right? So I'm very big with that. So we had the name tags. We did the 50-50. We gave out hand warmers. And then the staff, okay, going back a little bit. So earlier that week, once I told Chip Howells that, like, hey, I'm going to do this party there, they said, hey, are there any drink or food specials that you want to do? So I came up with this menu, right? I came up with 3 different drinks. The 1972 season, it was like a rum and Coke. Then I did the Uncle Dan Marino, which was an old fashioned. And then I did the Tyreek touchdown celebration, which is kind of like a Madras. So they made those 3 specialty drinks. And then they had their menu. But like, for example, no.
No.
So then like with the menu, for example, if they had like mozzarella sticks, I called it like the Mostert mozzarella sticks.
No.
And then, okay, so the chicken tenders. So it was the cheetah chicken tenders, the Waddle bourbon honey wings, the Tua tenderloin supreme, and Coach McDaniel's mac and cheese. So they created this menu, and yeah, you could order off the regular menu, but they were so awesome to work with, filled the place up. And it was probably the most successful event that I've ever thrown. And even more, I got to meet fans who I may never have gotten to meet because they don't get the chance to go to Hard Rock. That's super far from them. There's a lot of military guys who were stationed in Oklahoma who made the trip, and people from Texas and stuff. So
we recognized them. We gave them all, whoever's military, first responders, stand up. We recognized them. Everybody clapped. It was a great moment.
Yes. Manny, hello. We missed you in Kansas City. It was an awesome trip.
Shout out to Amanda, our waitress. She was awesome. She took care of everybody in the room, outside the bar. She was all over the place and really just so efficient, getting everybody situated. So she was awesome.
No, everybody was just super great. Lewis, I didn't forget about you. I still have ideas for you.
Thank you, Russ. I'm going to need them.
So that happened. So then we take we all start going to Arrowhead. We left about 4 o'clock to get to Arrowhead. It was about 20 minutes from the restaurant. The ride to Arrowhead was very smooth. I drove. We blasted Trick Daddy, and we were just vibing out.
Pitbull, we had all the
we were all in our
County songs
feels
going on.
So we get to Arrowhead, and we all step out of the car,
and it hits you. It hits you right there.
It's like it was the worst, right? Like it was just such a blast. Not a blast like fun, but a blast of cold air. So the parking wasn't so far. I did a pre-parking, but parking was super easy. Like generally speaking, it was super easy and to get in and out. And so we walk into Arrowhead, and that walk was just so bad. We go into Arrowhead.
Remember, we're carrying our cardboard as well. You got your gloves on.
Yeah.
So, in moments, you got to take your gloves off to get your phone out to access the tickets. You
forgot about Manny.
Anybody? No, I didn't. Come on, Manny. Everybody who knows me knows that I love to take pictures, right? It's hard to take pictures when you got to take your gloves off.
Yeah.
Two gloves off all the time to take pictures. So, and then another point is that it was so cold out that at multiple times the phone died.
Miss Fins, keep them snowballs to yourself. I'm already frozen enough. That's a good point. So people also said that you cannot take your phone out because with it being that cold, it'll die instantly. And that actually happened to me. My phone was like on 78%. I'm not one to be on my phone a lot. And I took my phone out to show my boss like a picture or a video, and my phone died instantly. So yes, like the phone died. So we get into Arrowhead. We start exploring, but we're staying in the concourse. So it's a little bit warmer than it is out there, but you're still feeling it. And I would say it was about 20% Dolphin fans there, 80% Chief fans.
I would say less than that. It was probably about 15, 10%. And also it was very spread out. The tickets, obviously, I will say this. A lot of people, the tickets obviously plummeted, then went back up. It fluctuated a lot throughout the week. But the game was sold out. There was not one seat available. The game was sold out. Dolphins fans were in pockets. We had our group. We sold some tickets upstairs, and we had our group that sat with us on the lower level. But we were in pockets. We weren't, it was spread out. So, but I would say 10 to 15% Dolphin fans.
Yeah, it was something about like that. Like that meme of Cool Running fans when they arrived at the Winter Olympics.
Yes.
Photo real like Lou. I knew you wouldn't be taking too many pics because of taking the hands out of the gloves. Oh, he still did. Trust me, he still did.
But then my phone died. I'm telling you, it went from like 70% to like 5%, and then it died. It's crazy.
The blast of cold air hit you like when John Candy arrived with Jamaican bobsled and Cool Runnings.
Yeah, man.
Okay, totally now I know why Lou didn't text you back. Okay, so we get to our seats. We have really good seats. Corner end zone and 11th row, surrounded by Chiefs fans for the most part. Well, not for the most part. They did not have a flyover. They shot fireworks, and the game started. And first quarter, now you're talking like 8:30 or 7:30, 8 o'clock, and now the temperature is drastically dropping. So we're trying. And the thing is, at Arrowhead, no one sits down. Like I know the deep end people stand the whole time. This is the whole stadium, so it actually felt better to stand as opposed to sitting.
Absolutely.
So I'm cool with standing. But then the cold, was just really bad. So two guys behind us who were season tickets for the Chiefs, really cool guys.
Blackie, his name is Blackie. He was not black. He was actually him and his friend, two Asian dudes, the nicest guys that you could meet. Chief fans who those were their season tickets. However, they also had access to a suite. And
so wait, look who's in the house. Dan Mejia. What's up, guys? Dan and Rebecca from Cali.
That was awesome.
We met Dan and Rebecca. Yes, we had an amazing time with them.
They were great.
But Dan, I don't think you know the story. So we're sitting in our seats, two guys behind us, season ticket holders for the Chiefs. The seats first quarter were freezing. Then the one guy taps you on the shoulder and says something to you. And I guess he says, "Hey man, I have a suite. You guys want to come up?"
Yeah.
So you asked me, and I said, "Dude, let's go." So these guys.
These are Chief fans, and so look, this was a monumental game for us.
Yeah.
I'm in it to win it, but I'm also cold. She was really struggling with the cold.
It was my feet.
Yeah.
So these guys, they're like, follow us. So at the end of the first, we're following them, not really knowing where they're taking us. This could be the end of our life, thinking, okay.
No, I never thought that.
So they take us to their suite with all of their Chief friends.
Yeah.
We walk in. Obviously, you guys
know.
Only
Dolphin fans.
Lou and I decked out head to toe, everything in between, all Dolphin stuff. And, they look at us, but right hand, like they could not have been cooler. So
Not-
we actually were in a suite for about a quarter and a half.
No, it was a quarter.
It was a
We left
quarter?
at halftime. It was
We
a
did.
quarter.
Okay. Well,
We got there for the beginning of the second quarter. We actually saw the only Dolphins touchdown of the game
In the
right
suite.
there, and we'll get into it in the suite.
Yeah.
And look, their seats, they're awesome. They're hardcore Kansas City Chiefs
yeah,
fans.
they are.
They have the season tickets in the grounds, but access to a suite. They told us, hey, look, we're going back. It's kind of going to look weird if you stay here because we were their guests.
Yeah.
So we said, no, we'll go back with you. Of course, no problem. So we all went back together.
The mayor of Wichita was like
The
in
mayor
the
of
suite.
Wichita showed up.
Oh my gosh, it was
She's
like big wall.
Female mayor of Wichita. She showed up. She was announced. We're there. We're from Miami. It was kind of weird, but we introduced ourselves. It was pretty awesome.
Same suite as Taylor Swift. No, it wasn't that same suite.
It was not.
But it was still a suite. So I felt very Swifty-like.
Yeah.
So we all know the game did not go our way. I really don't want to talk about the game personally.
Look, we need to make
we
it
have
a point.
we have like 15 minutes.
Okay, we'll talk about it really quick. Look, so Kansas City obviously won 26-7, right? The first downs, they dominated. They didn't really dominate the time possession, but they got so many first downs that they didn't give us a chance to, stay in the game. The defense, for all their injuries that we had, you talk about Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland didn't play. We knew about the other ones. No Baker, no Van Ginkel. So with all that said, the defense actually did their part. They kept the team in the game, and we had an opportunity. Unfortunately, the offense could not get anything going.
Nothing
at all. They were, and the game call, the play calling was horrific. Not just in this wild card game where literally the season was on the line. In the week before as well, against Buffalo, we scored 14 points and we scored 7. Keep in mind, this is a team that in week 3 scored 70 points. They put up 70 points on the board. And when it mattered most in the last 2 games for the division against Buffalo and in the wild card playoff game, they scored a total of 21. 8 quarters when they scored 70 and pretty much 3.5 quarters against the Broncos. So it's astonishing. And I know there's injuries, but there's no excuse for Waddle to only have gotten 5 targets. There's no excuse to continue to make a commitment to run the ball. And the biggest thing, and me and you were talking about this all throughout the third and fourth quarter, was the sense of urgency. There was no.
They were just sitting ducks. Like they
were letting every
care.
play go down to 2 seconds. They weren't doing no huddle. They were huddling up when you're down 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
Just said, keep running the ball. Why throw on 3rd and 2nd and 4th and 2nd when the running game was working? No,
and that
he's
was
right.
That was prevalent against Buffalo, and definitely
they kept us in the game and gave the old chances.
They really did give them.
Mark listened to on the radio because he was not going to buy the Peacock, so he listened on the radio.
Yeah, no.
Dan actually had he had club level because he knew his wife wasn't going to make it through the game. And for me, like. When we go to games home way, I'm really not about suite level, right? Like I like to be as close as possible to the field, to the court, all that stuff. But this was the biggest exception. Yeah. Man, when I go to these games, I'm never there for the food. I'm never there. I'm there for but honestly, my sweet little Heine could have stayed in that suite the whole entire game, and I would have been happy.
But look, we finished the game. We went back.
We went back the 3rd and the 4th.
Yeah.
So my problem was at the 4th is when it hit me, right? Like first, there's 2 parts, right? Dolphins gave up, and I'm like, I'm not leaving until the clock hits 0:00. So it's like my toes are not falling off when they should be falling off. So the pain of that, and then I'm seeing my team just collapse. So it was just disastrous. And then leaving out of there.
Well, hold on let's wind up the game here. So.
And then missed tackles. What about the missed tackles?
The missed tackles were
almost
horrendous.
looked like they let Mahomes run untouched.
Pacheco, Rice, and Mahomes were running at will and getting extra yards that didn't need to go that way. Another thing, we left a lot of points on the board. We went for it on 4th down 6 times, and we only completed 3 of those. We missed opportunities to have added a field goal or gotten closer to take a shot in the end zone, and we just gave up those opportunities. 2 of those times, they took that short field and went back and scored. So it really put the game out of reach, and it was a game that was winnable if the offense could have done anything at all. I mean, you held them to 26 points, and at one point it was 19-7, right?
Yeah.
If you give them up a field goal and you don't let them score that last possession, it would have been a 2-possession game. 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points puts us back at tied. So we just there was no sense of urgency when the season was on the
Russ
line.
made us feel better. That's what he does.
Huh.
They still made more tackles than a certain team I follow.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's for sure.
USMC Sniper 123. Hey, Ash, sorry about the playoff loss. Refs sure love balling out over overrated Patrick Mahomes. Shaking my head. Ain't that the truth? But
we had missed tackles and we let Mahomes get extra points. Now, yes, there was a roughing the passer there that was ridiculous. Just like, by the way, yesterday in the Buffalo-Pittsburgh game.
Tony Romo, just marry Josh Allen.
Really.
Just marry him. Just ask him to marry you. It's okay.
Just because it's fresh in my mind. And Josh Allen had just run for a 12-yard scramble. On the very next play, he's running again. The defender is in the air, ready to make the hit on Allen, and he slides at the last second, and they call a 15-yard penalty. I mean, these flags and the protectment of the quarterback is getting beyond ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not football. It's not football. This is not Pee Wee football. I mean, let
even Pee Wee, I feel like they let more.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Buffalo curse on Eagles after they beat the Bills. The Eagles went 1-5. Yeah, no, we could have a whole segment just on the Eagles. We could have Dallas. Like, I'll tell you for what it's worth, and it's worth absolutely nothing. If I had to pick a team, which obviously I'd want the Dolphins, but Dolphins aren't there, I'm riding Dan Campbell at this point, right?
Like, We'll talk about the playoffs in a second here. I know Ryan because time.
Riley is not Baker. Missed him in this
game
as well as a good pass rush. Missed Phillips, Chubb, and Van Ginkel. Our defense, minus the times they looked scared, played how I figured they would.
Yeah, it's funny. Duke Riley led the team in tackles, but it's almost because he missed the first tackle, and then he gets them, chasing him down. So, but yeah, he's definitely no Baker, that's for sure.
This new era of quarterbacks is garbage. I'll be rooting for the Bills this week for obvious reasons.
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I will never root for the Bills. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Sorry.
Ashley, have you ever heard Romo when Mahomes is playing? Have I ever heard Romo when Mahomes is playing?
I can't wait to this week because it's gonna be like watching tennis, back and forth. His love for Allen, his love for Mahomes. It's gonna be out of control.
I like that. Lions in Texas Super Bowl. I'm okay with that. I'd be down for that.
I don't know about that one.
The ratings would be super low though. This high-powered, high-scoring offense has gone MIA. Sadly, just weren't the same.
Yeah, again, I don't know how this regression happened. And when the games meant the most, you backtracked. You got scared. You played conservative. You didn't take the chance. You got Waddle. You got Hill. Get him the ball, whether it's on a reverse, whether it's on an option, whether it's on a wildcat, whatever you had to do. You got to get your best players the ball. And they didn't do that. And that's why they couldn't, stay in the game. And it's a shame because the banged up defense with players that we literally signed off the street did their job. The offense did not, and it's really upsetting. If you recall, we had a delay of game penalty, a crucial one last year against Buffalo in the playoffs, and it happened again in the wild card game. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry.
Listen, defense injuries killed you too. I think they said a total of 25 sacks missed from them. Chiefs were a lot healthier than the Dolphins. I mean, that's facts as well. The Bills are 5-1 when Nance and Romo are on the call.
Oh boy, here we go.
Ryan,
sorry, Mark, but
thing good out of Buffalo is Buffalo wings. Never pulling for the Bills, Jets, or Pats.
Thank
Never
you.
as a Fins fan.
Never do it.
Desi, the creativity disappeared.
Yeah.
USMC Sniper says there's only one thing an NFL cares about is their political agenda and Prince's quarterbacks. There's no way in hell Patrick Mahomes would survive playing in the 70s through the early 2000s.
I agree.
Shots fired.
Bonacani, Jack Tatum, they would, they wouldn't let those guys get away with that. I mean, no way. I wouldn't walk away from that.
Robert from the UK, no plan B when the team stopped plan A. Facts.
Yeah, seriously. But
Fins up. No, so talk about Fins up. Let me just tell you that, guys, we are in a lot of trouble. When I say we, I consider myself part of the team. I consider you guys part of the team. We're Fins family, Fins nation, Fanatics, all that, Fin laws, everything. We're all getting sued here by Margaritaville. So Fins up is what we say. It's our hashtag. You see somebody at the airport, Fins up, high five, Fins up. We have shirts that say Fins up. Everything. That's what we just say. It's Fins up. Well, I guess no one realized that years ago, Margaritaville and Jimmy Buffett actually patented the phrase Fins up. They have a Fins up club. They have a Fins up everything. So something happened within the last few weeks that Margaritaville is like, dude, you guys cannot say Fins up. This is our thing. So Fins up is gone. I mean, we will still continue to say it. It's part of our vocabulary. It's smooth. It comes out nicely. Yeah. But there's no more hashtag Fins up.
I saw that they're working on a new. So I guess the Dolphins are going to work.
Jimmy Buffett's dead. Like, let the man rest in peace. Like,
he wouldn't have done that.
He would not have done it. It's his greedy family that wants to bank on this now.
He used to be a part owner of the Dolphins. He had stake in the Dolphins. So, I don't think he would have, taken this course. But apparently the estate is, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
No, so the whole thing, it's disturbing, it's annoying. But yeah, so
let's wrap up the game. So look,
yeah,
it was obviously an experience, right? We went to a place that
we had a great trip.
We had a great trip,
really
but I
did.
want to speak about specifically the game. It was an amazing experience to be in that cold weather.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends said they would not do it again. I'm telling you, I'd sign me up. I'd do it again. It was uncomfortable. I didn't mention the last part. As we're leaving the stadium, we had a little mishap getting into the actual car because
that was disastrous.
The control was actually frozen. We couldn't unlock the car. We had to manually
and the doors.
do it.
So at that point, after like the walk from Arrowhead to our car again, it's very close.
Yeah.
So you're talking like very.
And you're still feeling the effects, right? You get in the car, and even though you're in the car for about 2 minutes, you're still breathing the smoke out, right?
Yeah.
Your body's still thawing out and in shock. You start taking your gloves off and your hat off. I could not take my ski mask off. I guess my beard got stuck to it got stuck. I could not take my mask off. I was driving around with the mask. I felt like a NASCAR driver, right? I couldn't take it off because my beard was stuck to it. And then you're still shaking. You're shaking. You're in shock. You put on the heater. We had a heated steering wheel. You put that baby on. None of it worked. You're feeling it for about the 25, 30-minute ride.
My thing was like I wore layers on my legs. My legs were fine. If you guys recall, this time last year we went to New York for the Heat Knicks game, and I actually ended up getting 3rd or 2nd degree frostbite in New York. And so I was like, Ash, you ain't going through that again. So you're protecting these nice little leggies here. So legs, I was good. I had 3 layers of legs. Top, your girl didn't wear her little sports bra. I'm lying to you. I did wear the sports bra, but
under like 15 layers of clothes.
So the tatas were good. The legs were good. Hands, I had hand warmers.
My tatas were good too, by the way.
But my boots. Now Ash did wear
your boots.
Now Ash wore her sparkly boots. I gotta tell you, everybody was all the Chief fans wore all of my boots. They were like, "This is the coolest thing." So Ash wore her boots, but I wore 2 pairs of socks underneath the boots with feet warmers. My feet gave out. Again, the best way I'm gonna tell you guys, because this is how it is. I was on an episode. I felt like I was on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the bad guy was chopping at my toes, and he kept chopping and chopping, and they didn't fall off. The pain in my feet from the whole game, and then the walk from Arrowhead to the parking lot, I actually cried. I said they felt like kind of like if I was almost a pirate with stub legs, and I didn't feel my legs walking. I felt like it was just stubs at that point. It was
unbearable.
bad.
I'd say the same. I had 4 pairs of socks on. I had big socks. The Dolphins actually socks that wrap all the way up to your knees.
Yeah.
I had 4 of those on and my shoes, and I still felt my feet. I constantly had to be moving up and down. Remember, when you're outside normally in cold conditions, you have access to go in and out of places. Even when you're skiing, you're moving. Here, you're just sitting watching a game, or in our case, standing, and there's just no escaping it. And it was brutal. Thank goodness for that cardboard. Thank goodness for the hand and feet warmers.
In that weather, it's not about clothing style. It's about keeping all body parts warm. I mean, trust me, I still felt cute, right? Like, even though you only saw like my little eyes and stuff, I was still feeling cute. But you're right. It was not.
I will say, look, Arrowhead is a tremendous, legendary place for our Finn fans in the room. The Dolphins actually opened up that building. The first ever game played there was against the Dolphins in the 1972 season, and the Dolphins won that game. So they opened up that stadium with a win. We were hoping to conjure up all those vibes. We were hoping to get a really good look at the stadium. Unfortunately, we couldn't just because we didn't have an opportunity to do so. So we will be back because it is a historic venue. It's awesome. So many great players that play there.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight 4 of them that I saw that I absolutely loved. Derek Thomas, who's from Miami.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, Hall of Famer, unbelievable pass rusher. Then you had 2 running backs that I particularly loved. Christian Okoye, number 35, the Nigerian Nightmare. This guy was a beast. He laid out Steve Atwater of the Broncos back in the day. I'll never forget that hit. Another great running back that did wonders for my fantasy team, Priest Holmes, number 31. And one of your favorites, number 88,
Tony Gonzalez. That hot piece of man.
She was very excited to see his bust in there.
I was like,
she showed Tony her bust. So bust to bust action there.
Really, do I have little crushes on players? For the most part, I'm pretty PG. I'm not your typical.
Tony is a good-looking man. I can admit it. No problem.
Dan asked, "Are you guys going to Vegas for Super Bowl?" So here's the thing.
No.
Wait, let me add some stuff to it. being a Dolphins fan, we had all hopes that we were going to Vegas, right? People, especially our buddy Russ, who's in the chat, him being an Eagles fan, we kept saying, Russ, we're going to see you in Vegas in February, blah, 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 blah. So if it was to happen, we were for sure going to sell everything we have to make it happen. So yes, we were going to go, but now that they're not in the Super Bowl, we won't be going. However, Lou and I, as you guys know, we are engaged, and we had quite a few people, including our good friend Michael Ryan, suggest a possible like Elvis Vegas thing. So
I'm listening.
I know, right? We're like, Disney's a little pricey for a wedding, so we will not be going to Vegas for the Super Bowl, but who knows? We might be doing a little quick to visit our boy Elvis out there.
But no, look, the Arrowhead.
Lou and a sports bra, I'd buy that for $1. Yeah.
Arrowhead was tremendous. Obviously a historic, legendary venue, and we want to go back so we can really get the full experience, right? I did get some things out there that I want to share with you guys.
Elvis wedding.
They did have this awesome, and I have a couple extra of these. So if you were at the game, I might be able to give you one of these. It's the first game certificate, and it has the actual date and the Chiefs Dolphins. And I also got some really cool pins that I want to share with you guys. They normally have one game pin, but because this was Tyreek's return to Arrowhead, I'm trying to help you.
I got you right
Yeah.
here.
So
Lou's a hoarder. You guys,
I got a bunch of them, but so there's two in particular. This is the one. You could show that one. That's the Chiefs Dolphins official game day pin, and then there was also a special pin made that commemorates Tyreek's return to Arrowhead. Put it down a little bit, and it has Tyreek and Patrick Mahomes on the pin. So I got some pretty cool souvenirs from our time there to mark the occasion. And
tell them what you really brought home. We went to a steakhouse 2 days ago, and Lou and his buddy ordered like this poo-poo platter of all these meats and stuff, and nothing that I can eat. And I was like, Lou's not going to finish it. This boy brought home everything, and he just had like all his leftovers. So that's what he was really
Jack
excited
Stack's barbecue, baby. Jack Stack's barbecue. Say that 3 times. It is the money. It is the truth.
Nails.
It is freaking awesome.
Facts. I have not got my nails done for 6 weeks.
Jack Stack's barbecue, amazing.
United States Marine Corps Sniper 123. I've been to Arrowhead once when the Broncos and Chiefs played each other on Christmas Day back in 2016. The game was bad, but I definitely go back there to watch the Broncos and Chiefs play each other.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very nice,
we loved, honestly, Lou and I travel a lot. Kansas City was awesome. The people are great. We had like one of the best breakfasts. It was like super delicious. The cinnamon roll. We had mimosas. Lou actually said when we got married. So he got a little junk of mimosas. He had great barbecue.
It's a great city.
You didn't get the Russ platter?
I did not. Sorry, Russ. I sent Russ because there's one that said the poor Russ special. I did not get that one, but I'll get it next time in your honor, no doubt. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking of you. So by the numbers, let's go. These are the top 4 coldest games. Miami at the end of the day.
So we'll end with this.
Yeah, well, no, we got one more thing really quick, but
no, I don't want to rush that.
It ended at the number 4 coldest game all time. It was -4 degrees at the start of the game, and the wind chill was -27. Number 3 on the list, Seattle versus Minnesota in 2016 from TCF Bank Stadium. That's when the Metrodome collapsed. And they were.
I do remember that.
They were playing at the University of Minnesota outdoors, and Minnesota has brutal winters. So that Seattle Minnesota game was -6 degrees and -25 wind chill. So our wind chill was actually worse than that one, but they were -6 degrees. The second coldest was also a playoff game, San Diego versus Cincinnati. That was -9 degrees, and the wind chill is still to this day a record. -59 degree wind chill that day in Cincinnati and 82 at Riverfront Stadium. And the last one, as many of you know by now, the Ice Bowl, the legendary Ice Bowl in 1967, at Lambeau Field, the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers. It was -13 degrees. The wind chill was -48 that day. So that is the company that we were in. Like I said, tens of thousands of games, and we were at the 4th coldest one. So how about that?
Crazy to think about it. Obviously, there is a lot of talk about the Dolphins. Our season is over, but there's a long off season. Some big decisions need to be made. I actually want to keep that for the next episode because there's just a lot to talk about, and I don't want to rush through it. I mean, I'm just going to throw some names, right? Christian Wilkins, with Tua. Obviously, he's here next year, but to what extent?
Yeah, I would. Go ahead.
No, please.
I would also add Teron Armstead, right? There's been talk that he retires. He made the Pro Bowl this year despite missing 7 games.
I know.
Look, I love the guy, right? Culture guy, couldn't be a better teammate. There to help guys when he's out of the lineup, all that stuff. Wears the Dolphin throwback logo proudly. He came out with a 1972 logo in his introductory press conference, but the guy can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy, and I just don't know if he's going to be a fit. I almost hope that he retires. I know it sounds terrible to say, but if he can't help us on the field, what good does he do?
Desi said, tons to talk about, lots of free agents. So, we're actually going to save that for the next episode.
We do have the 21st pick in next year's draft.
Where do we need?
As well.
I was asked a question. Ashley, what year did you become a Dolphins fan? I've been asked this a lot. So, I'm going to just kind of close with this. My love for sports began when I was young. When I was 6, I became a Nets fan and a Yankee fan real young. And things have changed, obviously. I became a Dolphins fan in 2008. So I have never seen the Dolphins win a playoff game. The last time we won was 2000. I was in elementary school, and I was not a Dolphins fan. So I became a fan in 2008 because of Anthony Fasano, and I have not witnessed that great Dolphin football.
Not a lot of us have. I mean, I obviously when I was a youth, the Dolphins were in the AFC Championship game back in 1993.
Yep.
That's the last really great teams that we had. Ever since that, I know that we won a playoff game in 2000. That was a wild card game. We weren't expected to do much. So we got some working to do here. Let's wrap it up.
Well, one more question, and then we'll wrap it up with this. Yeah. Mark says, where are you going in 2024 for Dolphin game? So Lou and I are in discussions. Obviously, a lot of it depends on the schedule. We like Seattle. We like Green Bay. We're flirting with those two. We had such a great time in LA last year. So it's going to be some hard decisions. You said, Ash, you got to pick one. I would say Lambeau. Granted, it's not in December. I would like to see Lambeau. I'd like to go to Seattle. So those are my two on the radar right now. But again, it really depends on the schedule. I have some work commitments that I always have to work around. But those are our two. So
let's wrap it up though with with Detroit's win. We'll talk about the playoffs and we want to get people's opinion. On their who they think is going to go on and keep winning. But with Detroit beating the LA Rams, they had the longest drought
since 1991.
1991. They were at 31 years without a playoff win. With them winning, the torch was passed to us Dolphin fans. We now have the record at 23 years, 24 technically if you go by the actual year, but 23 seasons without a playoff win. We are the number one team in that category with the longest playoff droughts. It's sad to say, but that's the truth. So going over some scores, obviously Green Bay destroyed Dallas. Nobody saw that coming. Tampa, we mentioned last night, destroyed the Eagles. The Texans laid it on the Browns, right? That was crazy. We saw what the Bills did to the Steelers, even though that was a close game.
Yeah.
Those were your games for the week. And then, heading into this week, we got who do we got? What's the schedule? Let's pull this up really quick.
You have the 49ers. The Ravens.
Let's go by Saturday. So Saturday, we're going to have in the division round, it's going to be the Houston Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, of course, had that bye. C.J. Stroud looked great for the Texans in that win over the Browns. Who do you got there, Texans or the Ravens?
Obviously, I want the Texans to win, but they're not going to win, so I have to say the Ravens.
I'd say the Ravens as well. You got San Francisco, and if you're in the room, go ahead and chime in what you feel on your pick. Then you got the San Francisco 49ers, who also had the bye. They play on Saturday because of that. They will be hosting the red-hot Green Bay Packers, who really put it on the Cowboys last week.
They're not hot enough to beat the Niners. Niners are a way better team than Dallas. We beat Dallas, and we don't beat good teams. So I think the Niners will have no problem with that game.
Okay, interesting to say that. And then on Sunday, we finished it up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They will be going to Detroit. That's the throwback old NFC Central matchup. The Lions and the Buccaneers had a lot of battles over the years in that division. I hope they wear their creamsicle uniforms. I don't think they will, but that would be cool. But yeah, it's going to be the Lions hosting another playoff game here against the Buccaneers. Who do you got there?
I obviously, as I mentioned before, Dan Campbell would be great, but the Bucs are a Florida team. Don't hate them now that Tom Brady's not there. So
that's a good way to say it.
Right? They're cool. I love the creamsicle jerseys. We've been to Raymond James. I want to see Detroit.
So you're going for the Florida team or Detroit?
No, I'm going Detroit.
Yeah,
but I don't hate the Bucs either.
I think Detroit's going to win as well. I think the Bucs. I was so shocked by that victory last night. If you remember, the Bucs beat the lowly Carolina Panthers 9-0 to win the NFC South. I mean, I didn't see that coming. And I think that the Lions will resort them to that. I got the Lions winning that game. And then the monster matchup of the weekend. You're talking about two heavyweights. Two big-time contenders. The Kansas City Chiefs go on the road and play the Buffalo Bills. This is a rematch of that classic game, a couple years back.
I don't know.
Who do you got?
I have to You know, I mean, I want them both to lose, right? But
That's
Kansas City was so good to us, so I'm gonna go Chiefs.
yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
I'm
Look,
gonna go
I will.
Chiefs.
If you're a Dolphin fan, you can't
We
root
met
for the
some
Bills.
really
I'm
good
sorry.
people at
I'm
the
sorry.
bars and the restaurants. We had awesome servers, awesome people, the fans. I'm KC. Not that I hate Bills. I have a lot of great Bills fans, but I'm going KC.
Respectfully, F the Bills. No, I'm sorry, Mark. I know you're a Bills fan. That's great. And you should definitely rep your team, but I can't do it for you. Go Chiefs all the way. I know they beat us, but I cannot see Buffalo winning playoff games. It just does me not well. It doesn't serve me any well. So I need the Bills to lose. Go Chiefs, go Chiefs.
Got it.
Go
All right,
Chiefs.
guys. Well, we are like 2 minutes away from Hard Knocks. We gotta go. All right, this is our last Hard Knocks of the season. It's gonna be devastating. It's gonna be gut wrenching, and so
it stings. It's so far, we had hoped that obviously the title of the show was follow the Finns as far as they go, and we didn't go very far. Let's be real.
Yeah.
At the end, this episode should expose the truth and call us what we were and what we
call a sheep a sheep. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
They were right. Some of these commentators, whatever. We'll get into that next episode, but it is what it is. So until then, guys, enjoy Hard Knocks tonight. And
hope you had a good holiday weekend this weekend. Hope you have a good week ahead. Enjoy the playoff games next weekend. We'll be back here at some point next week to recap those games and to take you leading up to the AFC Championship and NFC Championship game and then the Super Bowl. We will be addressing those on the show. And we got Dolphins offseason talk big time coming up as we figure out.
Some baseball talk. I miss my Marlins, so that's going to be coming in soon. Pitchers and catchers report soon.
We got to figure out how these Dolphins can get it going and win a playoff game in January when it matters.
And Miami Heat talk too. It's all coming to you. All right. Night, guys.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
I'm going to say fins up one more time before I get sued by Margaritaville. Fins up.
Fins up.
Bye.
See you guys.